Thank you very much. The next speaker is Honorable Carter.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, if transport is responsible for the infrastructure network and operations that serve as a catalyst, that's the wheels, for social and economic development, then it's no wonder that we face socio-economic crisis that threatens our very stability as a nation. And if one looks at the State of Capture report and the SAC's unburdening report, then it's a wonder that the wheels have not yet been stolen. Well, we know that PRASA locomotives can't leave a station because it's too tall. Besides, we only have a temporary chief driver following the eventual demise of Montana, whose luck ran out, and the removal of Collins 350% Letshwala. Well, one thing's for sure, you can't get bored because one moment it's there and the next minute it's not. It's also clear that the Speaker is not the only one to have swindled her driver's license because corruption is rampant at our driver's licensing and motor vehicle testing centres. Chair, it honestly sounds Monty Python-esque, but it's not. We have a looted PRASA worse than a runaway train, a tussle over e-nators with no end in sight, and charges relating to 10 million rand bribes involving the former minister Ndebele and a former DG. Rampant corruption at licensing and vehicle testing centres that threatens road safety. A seemingly inoperable R2 system. The R2 Act is almost 20 years old and is still not fully functional. A road accident fund under Public Protector's investigation for maladministration and its solvency questioned. Rampant irregular expenditure in the billions at Sunroll, let alone the unresolved e-toll saga. Honourable Minister, you will be aware of all of this as a former member of the Transport Portfolio Committee. You have an onerous task ahead of you. Now, we know that the Public Protector made damning findings of corruption and maladministration in respect of PRASA. We know that as a consequence, Lucky Montana eventually resigned in disgrace. We know that former ministers strong-armed the deployment of 350% Letshwala in as acting CEO. We know that when the board fought back, former Minister Peters summarily dismissed the board, only for the courts to reinstate the board.
May you take your seat, please? What is the point of
Chair,
order?
the point of order is the point of information. Mr. Lucky Montana was not fired.
What is the point of order, Honourable?
He didn't resign, was fired.
Honourable, what is the point of order? Proceed. That was not a point of order.
Only for the courts to reinstate the board, declaring her action as unlawful and irrational. Phrases now hear far too often in respect of the President and his executive. Sources reveal Molefe was beginning to uncover high-level detailed investigations into PRASA's irregular tender deals. Molefe's board has been getting close to some very sensitive information about monies flowing to politically connected people. Now it is reported that in the interim, you, Minister, are ignoring letters from Molefe requesting a meeting. That there is a connected effort to oust him, that you, Mr. Minister, are purposefully not filling board vacancies to render the board functions officio, and that members of the Black Business Council visited Molefe on your instruction, asking him to walk away from PRASA. Can you please answer that? One can only ask rhetorically for what end, for it can only be a desperate attempt to hide the ugly truth. Now, Honourable Minister, as a former colleague, I've got to know you as a humble, firm and uncaptured person. I really want to, and I miss the Comrade Carter in the passage. And Comrade Joe, I want to say that will you keep your moral high ground?
Thank you very much, Honourable Carter. Your time has expired.
The ugly boil of corruption and state capture will be launched.
Thank you very much.
Exposed. Thank you.